What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today I want to tell you about a different way to play the Digimon trading card game. You see, a video has been floating around. Now, it is from a Japanese YouTube channel. I'll pop a link to it in the description. That's where the idea came from. And the idea is very simply this: Digimon TCG Beatdown. You see, we have spent an awful lot of time on this channel. We're not the only ones, but we have spent a lot of time on this channel talking about the evolution mechanic, talking about the fact that when you evolve, you draw a card, talking about the fact that there are all these inheritable abilities. So you evolve up from Gabumon and you get to remove an evolution source from the bottom of one of your opponent's level 5 or less Digimon. And then you evolve up from Garurumon, and when you attack, you get to remove another evolution source. And you evolve from Garurumon, and if your opponent has a Digimon with no evolution sources, you get security attack +1. So you evolve all three of those, and you're removing 2 evolution sources, and, well, assuming it's a level 5 or below, otherwise just the 1, and potentially getting security attack +1, and you're really getting a lot of advantages. Plus, you're drawing lots of cards when you evolve. You're getting nice and consistent. And that is your de facto way to play the game. That's where we all start. Well, apparently there's a different way to play the game. And the theory is, let's play a whole bunch of giant Digimon and just beat you down. So as an example, what you could play here is you could play all 3, or any combination thereof, of the vanilla level 6s. I am talking about Plesionomon over in the blue deck. I am talking about Magnadramon, in the yellow deck. And I am talking about Phoenixmon in the red deck. And these are all just different colour versions of themselves. They're all 10 cost to play normally, 2 cost to evolve, 12,000 power level 6s. Now, one of the important things about these is that they are a 10 cost. Remember that the memory gauge in Digimon has a hard cap of 10. Which means if you go first and there's 0 memory, you can play this level 6. Whereas if you want to go ahead and play War Greymon, you've got to have minimum 2 memory when you start your turn. If you start your turn with 0 memory, which would only be the first turn of the game, or 1 memory, you literally cannot play War Greymon. The game won't let you. But these 10 cost, you're doing rather nice indeed. So you will be playing these for Big Beatdown. You will also be playing all of, or any combination of, I should say, the level 6s with abilities. Now, 2 of these I believe are absolute no-brainers. I think Seraphimon, and I've made no secret of my love for Seraphimon. Without spoiling anything, I did my list of top 10 cards. And what I will say is, this came very high up. Let's put it that way. It's only 10,000 power and it is a 12 cost, but you get to choose one of your opponent's Digimon and give it minus 4,000 power when you attack. Which firstly means you can bring 12,000 power level 6 down so you destroy it. It doesn't destroy you. But also, it means that you can be potentially attacking the security or another Digimon, while also destroying a Digimon with 4,000 or less power. That sounds good to me. I'm also a gigantic fan of Metal Garurumon here. 11,000 power is a little bit weaker, but when you attack, you get to make it active. It's better than security attack +1, because you can just attack the security again. Or you can attack security and your opponent's Digimon. Or 2 of your opponent's Digimon. That seems good. I am a fan of War Greymon, however, there is a gigantic caveat here. And the caveat is you can only play this in a beatdown deck if you're playing some red Digimon from which to evolve it. During your turn, for every 2 of this Digimon's evolution sources, it gets security attack +1. You've got to have 2 evolution sources. Because if you don't have 2 evolution sources, it is literally Phoenixmon, but too more expensive. And cooler looking card, but it doesn't matter. So you've got to have some evolution sources here. And there are a small number of evolving Digimon we want to play. Now, one of the things that makes this deck so good is your security. What you want to do here is try and put a hard cap at 7,000. That is, now I don't know if it was a cap that the person who came up with this deck put on it, but it is a cap that I am putting on it, and they don't have anything lower than 7,000. The reason we go 7,000 is very simple. Every single card we've seen so far that is not a level 6 has 7,000 or less power. So ignoring any buffs for power, if all of your security Digimon have 7,000 power, every time your opponent attacks with anything other than a level 6, that Digimon will be destroyed by the security card. So we want to put a cap of 7,000 power and not go any lower. Now, I kind of like Magna Angemon here. It reduces power by 1,000 from one of your opponent's Digimon when you attack. It does combo nicely with Seraphimon, but I don't think it does enough. One of the ones that you absolutely want here is Garurumon, because it's a level 5, it's got 7,000 power. Now, the other thing to bear in mind here is if you play this as a 7 cost and then evolve into Metal Garurumon, you're paying 11 rather than 12 memory. It's a small bonus, but it is a bonus nonetheless. But if your opponent has any Digimon with no evolution source, then all of a sudden Garurumon is meaning that Metal Garurumon has security attack +1 and is made active the first time it attacks, so you can potentially be taking out 4 security in one turn, or you can be taking out 2 security and then attacking to win the game. Remember, you need to attack to win once your opponent has run out of security cards. So that's one that comes highly recommended. I am a huge fan of Zudamon, but we're playing level 6s unless we're evolving, and when you evolve Zudamon, so unfortunately, I don't think we can make room for it. Now, the other thing we need to consider here is that if you're serious about playing Greymon, and I don't necessarily think you need to, but if you're serious about playing it, you need 2 red Digimon. You're going to need yourself a level 4, and you're going to need yourself a level 5. Now, in terms of the level 5s, we're looking good. There are 2 level 5s I'm a big fan of. Firstly, we've got Garudamon. It's a 6 cost, and remember, you are going to be playing these normally unless you're evolving them, which isn't going to happen often. But when you evolve, you get an extra 3,000 DP. Again, if you're evolving level 4 into level 5 into Greymon, this is good. Otherwise, you're just talking 6 cost, 7,000 power. Though, to be fair, it is the cheapest level 5 we've got in the red deck, so even if you ignore the ability entirely, because it is an ability that only works when you evolve, even if you ignore the ability entirely, it still works quite nicely, because it's 6 cost, 7,000 power. The other one is Metal Greymon. It's a 7 cost, 7,000 power, which is more expensive, but if it's blocked, you get +3 memory. And I like getting +3 memory when I'm blocked. This can help me out beautifully. So, yeah, that seems pretty good. If you want a level 4, I think you've got to go Koredramon. The reason we go Koredramon here is because it's a blocker, which is very, very useful, and it's got 6,000 power, which is below my cap of 7, which makes me sad, but it's the highest we've got. You could go Birdramon as a level 4, but then the 5,000 power is weak. And one of the things, I'm not just taking the deck I saw on the Japanese channel. I'm looking at their idea and I'm thinking about the best way to play it. I want a hard cap at 7,000 power. But if I'm playing Greymon, I want 2 evolution sources. So my rule here is quite simple. If you want to play Greymon, you've got to have 2 evolution sources to get security attack +1. You've got to play a level 4, and I think Koredramon is the best option we've got. I would be tempted to leave Greymon out, and I mean, I'd still potentially want to go for Metal Greymon, but that would be about it. Now, in terms of option cards here, there are basically 2 option cards we want to play. because we haven't got time for finesse. We can't do it. It's not working. So what we want to do is just play cards that break our opponent's board. Gaia Force becomes an absolute monster here. It is an 8 cost, but it just destroys one of your opponent's Digimon. They spend a whole bunch of time evolving up, get all of their inheritable abilities, you just destroy it. That's kind of cool. Now, the other thing here is that we can go for the blue deck and we can go for Cocytus Breath. You return one of your opponent's Digimon to his or her hand and discard all evolution sources. Now it's a 7 cost rather than an 8, but it's not quite as good. You do give them the top level Digimon, but they only get the top level Digimon, and then they've got to pay a lot of memory to play it, and if their deck isn't built for it like yours is, then you're probably still going to be at an advantage. Sounds good. The reason we don't go for the yellow card, it takes one of your opponent's Digimon and gets rid of 10,000 power. But there are a bunch, well, all the level 6s other than Seraphimon have more than 10,000 power. So you run the risk of having a 7 cost card in your hand that won't even destroy one of your opponent's Digimon. Very important to note that all 3 of these option cards just work if they come out as a security card. And that's the other thing here. Think about the options you've got for security cards. One of 2 things is going to happen. You're going to be bringing out a bulky Digimon, which is probably going to destroy whatever's attacking. Or we're going to hit an option card, which will destroy one of your opponent's Digimon, which means every time they attack, they lose their Digimon. Yeah. That runs out very, very quickly. Now, the other thing to bear in mind here is you can only play option cards if you've got one of the relevant colour Digimon on the field, not if it comes out as a security card, but to play it normally. So given that we're playing red and blue option cards here, we really do want to be prioritising red and blue Digimon. I still think we play Seraphimon because it's nuts, but outside of that, I think we're going more to red and blue Digimon. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. A very different way to play the Digimon trading card game. It's not what we've been talking about so far by any stretch of the imagination, but it looks like it's going to work. You end up doing terrifying things like going first and giving your opponent 10 memory, but then when it comes back to your turn, you've got yourself a big giant level 6 Digimon that's just ready to go and start smashing. And those things are quite hard to take down. I remain... Let's just say I am not 100% convinced yet, but it's absolutely something I'm going to be playing around with. It is going to be a way of playing the deck that is absolutely on my radar, and I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to see what happens, and hopefully, it will work out quite nicely. Either way, ladies and gentlemen, I am really interested to see what you think about this, whether you think it's going to work. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy, where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other games. And do please consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get weekly bonus pods, all kinds of good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.